So today we're going to talk about some practical tips and ideas for any of us as individuals who want to show our support for public education. How can they do that? And if you're with an organization like we are here today at the Chamber of Commerce, how can an organization also show their support for public education? As an individual, there are so many simple things that one can do. I'll give you an example. Right now, our teachers need our support more than ever, and we need them more than ever. So what we can do is thank them, simply by writing a thank you note to a teacher that might be your student's teacher, calling the principal of a particular school in your neighborhood or in another neighborhood in which you don't belong, but you know you'd like to show support for, and just say, how can I help? Maybe that's bringing breakfast. Maybe it's serving as a mentor for an hour a day, helping a student learn to read. But just ask, what can I do to help? As a business, for example, you can do the same thing. Reach out and say, how can my business support your campus? It might be doing a school supply drive. Maybe there's a particular need for that. Maybe there's a science camp that happens that has a cost associated with it. Maybe that's a way for a small business to also support the campus and help its students learn about science at camp.
My job as the Vice Chair of Education is to identify speakers and topics that have importance in today's society relative to public education. I've known Missy Bender for over 10 years, and she was a former trustee on the Plano ISD School Board when I first met her, and she has since moved on to work for Raise Your Hand Texas. So she's here today to talk about advocacy, how everyone can advocate on behalf of public education. Advocacy begins at home, and so she's got some good tips on how to do that, very practical advocacy tips on how to do that. And in the context of the larger picture, advocacy is important because Texas is educating fully 10% of all the school children in the United States. So how goes Texas, so goes the country.
So Raise Your Hand Texas is a nonpartisan, nonprofit public education advocacy organization. As individuals or organizations, to build relationships and look for ways to educate them about public education, maybe through a candidate forum, a nonpartisan candidate forum, or an event like today. We work to engage them, to get them involved in showing their support for public education, and then we activate them during session, legislative session, which happens every other year in Texas, so that they can demonstrate their support for the things they want to support at the Capitol and affect public education policy.
The way to get involved is just Google Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce. It'll bring up the website, and it shows all the different divisions within the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce, including education. You can Google on that, and you can see how to reach out and contact me and get involved. We'd be happy to have you.
So a couple of ideas. Go to our website. It's raiseyourhandtexas.org. Search on advocacy to find out who, like me, represents you in your area, and reach out to them.
I hope they will learn some practical tips and be encouraged and feel empowered to advocate in a professional way with members of the Texas House of, the Texas House Representatives and the Texas Senate, and also not just with them, but also with their friends and neighbors where they live, because it takes all of us to advocate for the things that we believe in.
I hope that they walk away with one great idea that either I've presented or that they come up with their own and say, I'm going to do that.